Greetings, guys. Welcome. Hello. I wanted to come in and do a 12-12 portal activation and to make sure that everybody has the codes that they need, everybody has the upgrades that are necessary, because we are moving into 2024 with some magical things taking place. So I've been doing some channeling, and the way I've been doing my channeling has been getting in and hearing the messages in my head and typing them, basically just dictating, typing out what I'm hearing. I wait until I can hear the being. I create a channel to clear the channel and keep it from distorting, and then I just dictate what is being said in my head, which is much easier for me because when I go to speak, when I'm connected to such an energetically high frequency, the only thing that comes out of my mouth is light language, and then I have to turn it back into English for you guys. And so I found that I've been able to just type out the content that's been coming in, which has been so good. Um, so I've been busy doing that. I have about 22 pages on a document, on a Google document. So that's been like really cool to see. And I've been getting a lot of information coming in around a system change that is happening in 2024 or 24. So next year. And really when we say next year, it's just a few short months away. So some of the upgrades that are happening are to our system. And what that means is um, the beings are telling me that right now we're acting as an individual unit system and we're going to be moving to a whole system. And so I'm like, well, what does that look like for humans? And they're like, well, right now, each individual, like we think of it like countries or continents, or even like it's too individualized and it needs to be much more uniformed, much more easier, much higher frequency, not so like intern, like from an external source into an internal source. They want it so that it's just a universal love language, so that we're all in doing the same thing on the same frequency and it feels good for everybody. So at first I was sort of like, well, that's a massive feat. Like, how in the heck are you going to move us from this individualized system? And they're not talking about like each individual household is on their own individual system. They're talking about countries, because we know that there's a lot of like political crappiness that happens, right? So they're looking at wiping that and moving to a system that just works much better for everybody. And so again, it feels like a huge monumentous step of like where we're at now to like, holy crap, how are we moving to this? And they're like, don't worry, we are ahead of schedule. And I'm like, You guys have a schedule? Okay. They call themselves the Stratosphere Kingdom Collective Being. And so it's just a being that comes in. There's multiple planets that are oversaw or overseen by this collective consciousness that comes in. And it feels very much like a masculine energy, but a very soft, balanced sort of masculine energy. And they delegate the tasks out to people, not really people, but different beings. And so those different beings are in charge of different things. There's different beings that are in charge of stargates. There's different beings. So when I became in charge or overseeing, I guess, supporting one of the stargates, they told me that I needed to go and get a necklace. And they found the necklace. I was just scrolling through one day on my feed, and they're like, "That's the one." And I was like, "What? Pardon? Like what one for what? What are we talking about here?" They're like, "You need that." I'm like, "Okay, what? I don't understand why I need that, because I just got a necklace. Maybe you wore it for 2 months," and they're like, This is the one you need because of the upgrades and where we're going." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I went and I purchased this one, so hopefully you guys can see that, and then on the back, it has a bunch of, like, different runes and different things on there as well, but they're like, "This is what you need for the Stargate," and I'm like, "What Stargate? What are we I am so confused about what we're talking about, like, obviously, I'm moving my mission from I was working with archangels and working helping bring in and help embody and help, bring light and shine and grow. That wasn't really working as well as we expected, so we were like, "Okay, whatever, we're moving on to Stargates. I'm like, "Okay, awesome. So what are we doing with how that's going?" So they're like, "Go get this necklace. I get this necklace." And they're showing me different things that are happening within the different Stargates. And I'm like, "This is so not me. I am not about politics. I am not about world events. I am not about history. I am not about like science." And all of these things are key and vital for like learning the role that I'm in now. So I've been paired with like some really amazing people that is their specialty. They love the history, they love the science, they love all of those things. There's been a lot of healing stuff that's come up. Some of the so three different channeling groups. One is a healing group, and the other two are just straight channeling groups. We learn all things ascension and we work together. So one of those channeling groups has 10 weeks under its belt now, and it got its first mission. So we went into Ethiopia. We worked on a timeline that we needed to close to help protect the people there. We felt it in our bodies. We all worked to collaborate together to close that being a possibility for those people. So that was good. And then the following group that came in was the healing group, and they created a healing energetic ball that needed to go into that area and create and hold the space and help the land and the energy, place energy there for remembrance. So that was really beautiful to see as well. What else? Oh, right. We're looking at um today I did a session with Sarah Breskman Cosme, which was magical. She is wonderful. If you guys have an opportunity to connect with her, then absolutely make sure you connect. Um, we did a little session. Well, it wasn't little, it was about 4 hours long. And we learned about my gatekeeping role, which was awesome. I've had that role in the past. They are asking me to come back to that role and do it again. My higher self was like, "Man, this is a boring role. You sit here, and if there's any debris that comes close to by, you circle it, pick it up, and you drop it somewhere else. And the people or the beings in that whole scenario have no idea that you've just circled, cropped, and placed." Like, they continue life as per normal, and we clear the gateway and allow it to expand and keep energy moving out of it. So I was like, hey, that's really cool to see myself and see myself doing that role is pretty awesome. Um, there was also a role where I was like moving gems around and placing them places so they could restore energy flow in different areas. What else were we doing? Lots of healing work around, like, my kids, things that they needed. Dragons, making sure dragons were coming into places that they had, like, been blocked, entrance to. Looking at why my life's changed. I'm in Talkin life, where I met my sister, and my sister came into this lifetime, followed me. Um, so that was pretty cool to see the connection in that one. I had been a cloud of joy, so I was raining down raindrops of joy on people. I had an archangel life where I was charity and I helped assist and gain knowledge of as being a creator being so that I could help now with this ascension piece. Um, so yeah, all in all, it was like an amazing session, and I got to do lots of like practical things that were helpful in moving and assisting the ascension journey. So now I think probably I'm working mostly on a blog post for the Galactic Federation of Light. They are coming in, they're the clothing company, and I'm working on that. It's going to be about indigo. It's, I guess, indigo children, but that's just a misleading title. Indigo children are not it's not specific to age. So anybody can be an indigo child, regardless. It can be 89, or it can be 122. Like, it can be anybody who is an indigo child. So there's three different types of indigos. One is supportive of the planet and the sacred geometry and the maps and grids and things like that. Then you have the healer types where they work on different types of DNA, different templates, different matrices, different DNA. They're all about those types of structures, and then you have the integrators, the type 3 where they integrate polarities there. They have the positive and negative within them, and they integrate that. So that's super helpful for healing that like we can't just be all bright or all dark. We have to have that balance, right? So that's been kinda cool, to write out that blog. I'm hoping that it's gonna be done this end of this week, and then I'll probably do a live with them so that I can, just share, what it's about and how it has been. I've been busy. I put together the healing, course, so that has different modalities in it, and that one is, like, so beautiful. I That's, like, one of my favorite things. It is, like, so near and dear to my heart, the healing class, not the class, but the, course, because it has all the modalities in it, and then we go through those modalities, and we use them, and we implement them, and we use them on each other in the healing class, so they kinda piggyback on each other. So that's been a lot of fun, but yeah, I think I wanna go into doing a little bit of work for the 12-12. So for this, portal, some activation, some codes maybe. So I'm just gonna breathe in a little bit of the energy, and allow us to move through. So as I'm pulling in the energy, I'm visualizing us moving to where we want to be in 2024. Tokokoe manaya kiete, shukoe kiete, moekai. So these codes are to allow us to move seamlessly into that new system that I spoke about earlier. As we move into this new system, we're going to start to transition, and we're going to start feeling our DNA structures shifting. So kokoya kiete, shuko kiete kikimoya kai. Hia kiete tetetai, shukumonai hia kiete. Nananai kieto kokoya kiete kikiete, shikamoya hikita nananai hia kiete. Kokoya kiete, shikoko kiete, kikiopoe badai hia kieta moe hait. Nananai hia kieta, shuko, hia kie, kotoko, nanananai. Moya kai tai. So just expanding when I'm doing this, it's expanding to make room for light to come in. So koya kitai shikai kiekite koi. Hai te shu. Tokoya kitai. So if you take deep breaths, you might feel the adjustments as your body brings them through. Tokoya kitai kite shikokoi. Hoya tai shub. So I'm just pulling density. Foya nananai yekatai moya kite. Tai hitai kukoete nai hitai popoete. Nananai hikitai shikai kikita kuko moy haitai. Shite shukoi moete shikite. Dododoe kietai, nonoete, shumoete. Saikim. Feeling that energy to make sure it's expanded outwards rather than contracted, where you are not able to expand. Dododoe kiete, sokoete. So just feeling your spinal cord dodoe kiete, kietai, to make sure that energy can move up and down. Just hoya kietai. Koyakite. So it's when we have that kundalini energy coming through, you can really feel it come from root all the way up. And it feels like it's this big shiver of energy. So I'm gonna wind one of those through. So koi. Hiya yay 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 Shokoya kitai na 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 hi 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 to toi. Kiete shokoya my hide. Sokoya na na hitai shokoya te hipopoya tai tai yatai. So that just recalibrates and aligns us to the frequencies that are needed for us to grow and expand. To toi kitai kitai. So I'm just feeling it energetically. It feels very balanced and very good. To kitai. Quiet. Shh. Yeah, it looks beautiful. So hopefully that'll allow us to just start that process of our DNA structures need to readjust. They need to shift. They need to start thinking about, okay, part of the new system is us connecting to it in a different way. The It's not about activating the DNA we already currently have. We need to reshape that DNA in a way that it connects to the new system. The DNA we have at this point, it's not like, the way I see it is it doesn't have these, like, think of a ladder, and the ladder has these, like, little hooks on the top, and it hooks onto the edge of whatever it might be, a ledge or something. Um, that's how I view the DNA. It comes in and it's got these, like, little tiny hooks on the top, and it hooks on to the new system that's there and creates, like, a connection, a hook, type Velcro type connection to it. Um, so it'll be interesting as we go. They had told me a couple weeks back that our DNA will have an extra strand in it. And I was like, I have no idea. I cannot visualize it. I don't know what you're talking about. You need to show me. And so they showed me that some people already have the third strand activated. Other people have four strands that are activated, but they're waiting because they want everybody to like shift into those three and four strand activations. They don't want it to be, you know, difficult for us because we already at times find it difficult to, you know, be as a collective amongst everybody. So it's trying to make sure that there's not these massive gaps between people so that we find it really difficult to live with people that are just not on the same frequency and vibe as us. So I'm hoping that we start to see more of those 4 strands and 5 strands and 6 strands, like, where once we start, it'll be easy to keep going, but it's this initial starting time where it's a little bit more difficult. So, my guess, you'll also hear more and more people start talking about DNA strands, DNA structures, DNA upgrades, because we're starting to get that information. As we go into 2024, they're telling us things are gonna change, your DNA is gonna start happening to shift. They're starting to put us to sleep, where in the middle of the day, they're like, "And you're going to sleep because we have to do DNA work." And you're like, "What? Really? Right now?" So you're gonna find it feels very much like you're fighting sedation because they're putting you to sleep so they can access your DNA. They talked about using an enzyme so that they can break down some of the structures to build them back in a different way so that that can be just built in a different way. So that was kind of interesting as well. So I'm curious to see what we start hearing from other intuitives about DNA structures and DNA and the new system, because I think more and more of that stuff is going to start coming through. We're hearing things that really resonate with me right now are talk about emerald holders, the Elohim, the Oraphim, the aurora rays, the beings from the seven higher heavens. So all of these things are what I used to think of them as second layer. So I thought of archangels building here, and then above where those built is the seven higher heavens. And I used to call them the second layer, and there's even a third layer. So I would be like, "Yeah, they're the second layer beings or this third layer beings." And now I'm aware that these are like the guardians, the trinity, the flame holders, like that those are the beings that are up there and they look like they are just light. They're just rays of light. So there's if you look on Ascension glossary, there's a lot of information about this stuff that's on there. You just have to kind of dig through and have a look. And it's all highlighted. When you get one article, there's a bunch of other highlighted spots in there. You can click on different terms and it will give you the different pages. So that's where a lot of us are getting our information from, in terms of like, what are we seeing and what is this called? I see these big bright lights and I have this energy coming through me. Like, what is going on? It seems so bizarre because there's no words for it. It's not like you can say, oh, okay, really all we know it to be is like this bright blue light or this bright white light. But then when we go back in, it's Ascension glossary. And so when we go in, they don't tell us what the names are these things are. It's not until we start reading and we realize, that's what's happening. Yes, that's the emerald. Okay, yes, that's the bright light. Okay, that light hit this thing and then it all lit up. Okay, that's the template. Okay, that's the matrix. Okay, like there's just it's so much and so overwhelming. You could be on there looking at terms on and on and on and on. So I would say have a look and see what resonates, because I think, at least for me, I am done working and trying to bring alongside and assist with the archangel, so I feel like I did the Egyptian timeline where I assisted a lot of the gods and the Greek gods and moved through, resolving and helping assisting with conflicts in that line, and then I moved into a galactic line where I was helping galactic beings doing different things. Then I moved into an angelic line where I was working in a lot of the angels and the archangels and understanding who did what and how and where and what if they're embodying and not and who is with who. And it just was a convoluted mess. And then we moved into, at this point, it's gone up again higher where I'm now in with like the Elohim and the Oraphim and the aurora rays, and, like, these are just very like, we think of angelic beings as like, "Ah," and that wasn't my experience with them, and so they've sort of been like, "Okay, let me try again," and then they put me in with this new set, and I'm like, "These people are so amazingly beautiful," like, the beings that are here are so beautiful. So, yeah, that's sort of what energy update looks like from my perspective and what I've been getting in. I'm going to keep channeling in more and more information in my written document. And I'm going to start a platform where people can access those written documents to see like what am I channeling? What is this? And who are these beings that you're speaking to? You guys can get to know them a little bit. And I think that'll be like super exciting for people to follow along with and be alongside me on that journey. So yeah, I'm just excited all around. So, yeah, if you wanna come and you wanna hang out, you can come to a Saturday, night channeling class. They're $11.50 a class. Like, it's really not a huge amount of money. You pay for it monthly, $45, and then each week you come out and come join us. So it can be Saturday night, it can be Monday night for healing classes, and then it's Tuesday morning for, the second channeling class. So, yeah, we're gonna start working missions, we're gonna start doing more channeling, and healing of the lands. We're gonna start meeting more tribes. So it's just an all around exciting journey. So, yeah, hopefully that 12/12 portal activation was, felt with everybody, and it feels good, and, I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks.